nervous.
Yeah, we didn't really practice the presentation or
Just do it.
like that. Essentially, this is the pharmacy garden. The way they've already established everything, try to go with the smallest change for the biggest effect. And their main problem was water. So I forget what they're called, but I did the
Olas.
the 3 liter bottles or whatever, and we calculated it up with 1,200 gallons. It's roughly 4,500 liters. So we calculated it up with the 26 beds. Essentially, one tank would last probably like 2.5 months. So
wow.
if they watered them like 3 times, they fill each one of these beds up. They fill it up 3 times a week. Essentially, that would last them in a very thick mulch, like 6 to 8 inches of grass clippings, straw, leaves, etc. Would essentially they would use probably 2 of those. They said they were using 4 whole things per season, and this would literally cut it more than in half, and just on paper, you know. I mean,
That's incredible.
That's not including if it rains or anything like that. That's just filling up those liter bottles 3 times a week for almost 5 months.
That's great.
Yeah, the way we've designed the actual beds is the middle will be your annual crops, whatever vegetables you want that's heavily mulched. Then on the 4 corners, annual or perennial dynamic accumulators or pollinator species. And same way with the edge, it's really just utilizing the edge of all the beds for pollinator species and different beneficial insect attractant species and dynamic accumulators, etc.
We're going to add hanging baskets and boxes on the edge to make more edge and...
Edge of... You're going to hang them on the edge of what?
Like the fence.
Okay, cool. I didn't understand. At first, the reason I asked at first, I thought you were going to hang them on the edge of the garden bed. And I'm like, okay, well, how's that going to work?
No.
Okay, on the edge of the fence.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then add pollinating plants, herbs and flowers in those. And then have sunflower plants, comfrey, and just other ground covers all around the edge.
And essentially the hanging baskets were just to accommodate the accessibility for elderly that couldn't bend over and stuff like that. So we figured run baskets, and potentially they could run around the whole place if they wanted to, inside or outside. And just to make a nice visual walking into the gate, you've got larger sunflowers facing the south side. The sunflowers will be facing you, and that's essentially like a canopy layer of that particular little guild, with comfreys or whatever underneath it, just to give a nice foliage look, and overlays like you were discussing, and some ground covers underneath that, just to make it pretty, but utilize the area as well. And I just put some rhubarb up here. I noticed they have a big strawberry patch right there, and I know rhubarb's a good companion plant with that. I figured that'd be a good aesthetic appeal too, just to have some big rhubarb plants in there. Also for aesthetic appeal, that little area outside, we put together a list, just a perennial flower guild. These are different herbs and flowers that are really low maintenance. They're really drought tolerant. You probably wouldn't have to water them much, if any. And they all bloom and do their thing at different times. So there's always going to be some color right there. We really didn't feel adding a bunch of rain barrels would be that beneficial, just because we felt like we saved them 4 or 5 of these getting filled up, and really didn't know how to incorporate a bunch of different rain barrels in until we kind of saw their presentation with the different types of rain catchments and stuff, which is a great idea.
It is. Never seen it before.
Yeah, not on that scale, so it was really cool. We didn't put much into the kid zone, just because we really didn't have time to incorporate it in there, but we thought talking to Carly and stuff before, I thought the kids zone with the natural playground equipment and stuff like that was a great idea. And here's just an example of a worm bin made with one of those IBC totes, and a different way of stacking it up and layering it and putting the drain where you can utilize some of the compost and the tea to actually put into the garden beds. Maybe fill some of these up a couple
Sure.
times a week or whatever, just to sink that in. Found the wind direction, west winds during the summertime. I found the sunrise and sunset in the summer, and sunrise and sunset during the winter, the northwest winds during the winter. We thought this area up here could be completely saturated in ground clovers, microclovers, and woolly thyme, which is really low and takes really heavy foot traffic. I thought that would be something just to utilize that space and attract more pollinators and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
Let's hear what you have to say about this. Tell us your true thoughts and feelings.
What? I guess going with what they have, I guess that this would give them just help to make it better. Just building off what's already there and just to try to
Keep going, you're fine.
You got this, Daniel.
You're amongst friends.
if they like if they're not going to put the beds on contour, then the bottle idea would definitely be the only way. Well, the rain barrels.
I think you're right.
It's the only way
I think
to
it's the
always
only
save
way.
water.